We all agree that your wish is my command, and I'm here to honor your request for the full video on the cruise. If you have not watched the previous video, kindly watch and then also watch this one. And thank you so much for clicking. Welcome to Jest World YouTube channel, where we live, learn, adventure, and charity. We talk about finance, travel, personal development, and community service. If you're interested in this kind of content, kindly subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you. Hello good people, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to talk about planning for travel. But before we do, comment down below. Do you ever travel, or do you consider traveling either expensive, not a priority, or it's just not in your mind? Sometimes it would be good to travel and change your environment. Maybe your environment is even toxic and you just need a breather. Comment down below your last destination. So let's go straight to the video and talk about planning for travel on a budget. First, you need to think of your destination carefully, because some places are naturally expensive, others are cheaper than where you even call home. The first thing is to establish what is your budget. Then you can be able to choose your destination. Some of the destinations could even be cheaper than going to your village. Sometimes we consider going to the village as the change of environment. Do the maths. If you travel to your village, how much do you spend? And if you decide one time, instead of traveling to the village, you just decide to go to a destination, how much would you require? The next thing is avoid tourist traps. What does that mean? Big cities and tourist hotspots are often more expensive than staying off the other places. Try and choose less well-known destinations, that is if you can, and check out those hidden gems you must visit. And of course, avoid restaurants on the main strip and try something down a sidewalk. The food will probably be better as well as cheaper. For instance, instead of going to a restaurant, you can try the street food. And most places that you visit, you'll definitely find street food, and they will be cheaper than the restaurant. The next thing is travel off season. Of course, you might not be guaranteed of some things, for example, weather and all that, but your chosen destination will, one, be cheaper. Your mode of transport will also be cheaper because not many people are booking, and also the environment will be less busy and crowded. That means you will save money and you will have the whole space to yourself. If you travel during peak seasons, you'll find that first, even it takes time to get service. It becomes very difficult to get mode of transport, and it also becomes expensive, and it is just crowded. But you know what? Sometimes it's inevitable, because if you have a child in school, you cannot stop them from going to school so that you can travel. But during the school holidays, you can plan ahead. For instance, if you anticipate they will be closing on this day, you start the holiday sooner, before the other parents decide or start planning, such that when kids close, the first thing is your holiday, then you settle back home. I don't know, have you ever tried that for those who have kids going to school? And did it work out, or did it save you a coin? And of course, remember, you must have booked early enough. Look out for discounts and offers so that you maximize on every cost that you can save. If you're going to fly, use Skyscanner to check which flights have great deals. And of course, compare the period so that you can be able to make a saving. In our previous video, we mentioned that if you book a flight well in advance, you get to save a lot. So as you book well in advance, remember to also check for the best rates, but of course without compromising service. You can always check the reviews before you consider booking. If you choose the flying option, it is usually advisable to fly midweek. Flights are more expensive at weekends because most people are free to travel. They don't even need to maybe take leave from work or stop kids from going to school. So usually they say between Tuesday and Thursday you can get very good rates. The next tip is, if you're on a budget, you must be prepared to share. One of the biggest expenditure during travel is accommodation. So if you can save on accommodation, then you'll be able to holiday on a very tight budget. For instance, if you pay 2,000 for accommodation for maybe 3 or 4 people, and then you cook at say for instance it's an apartment, you get to make a saving, because at the end of the day it's like you're still using the same services at home. And actually, like when you're cooking, it means you're using their electricity. So you have some sort of a saving, which is actually not a saving because it balances with the amount of accommodation, of money that you're paying for the accommodation. There's this concept of people sleeping in a hostel where they share the hostel as their accommodation. I don't know, have you ever tried it? Is it very common in your area or in some places that you have visited? Comment down below. And would you stay in a dorm to holiday? Honestly, I would, because it would save you a lot and you still get to enjoy. The next tip is couch surfing. This means that you meet with the locals and stay at their house. For instance, if someone is coming to my city, I accommodate them and they just sleep on the couch. And of course, remember, since you'll be traveling for a holiday, you can always reach out to your relatives who can even accommodate you, which will definitely be free of charge. Of course, maybe some shopping. The other tip is traveling overnight. If you have a long journey to complete as part of your trip, one way to save money is to travel overnight. That is, you get to pay from A to B no matter what time of day you travel, but traveling overnight saves you the cost of accommodation for that night. That is, and you don't waste time traveling during the day, so you have more time to explore. For instance, if in our previous video we said SGR travels at 10 p.m. So if you use the SGR and you get to Mombasa or to whatever destination, that was just an example, to whatever destination by say 3 a.m, then you sleep at the station maybe until in the morning. You wake up fresh, go to your destination. If it is an apartment or a hotel, you check in and then you start your day. First, you did not spend the night there, so you did not incur that cost. And second, you started your day from the morning. That's a good one. If you have ever done that or you have ever tried that, comment down below. When I did that, I used a bus to Mombasa, but I didn't know I was saving time. Now I know. Before we conclude on the accommodation, there's also the camping that you can do tents, which tend to be cheaper, so you can also try that. The difference between now staying in a tent, being hosted and all that is that you really have to ensure that you have your personal items as compared to maybe a furnished apartment or a hotel where some of these things can be provided. Yeah. The next and most important tip is search for free things to do in your chosen destination. Just ensure before you travel, you know the places you will visit for free or at maybe minimal cost, where you can actually just spend very little, and especially considering the numbers. The other thing I discovered is that if you have numbers, then you can always negotiate a discount, which in most cases you will get. So that's another one. The next tip is don't eat out all the time. It's not like every day you go to the restaurant or you go out to eat. Shop for food from the supermarket and cook for yourself and your family. Factor trying some local delicacies into your budget. Say if you're in a place where they do seafood, you can try and discover recipes and do the seafood. If it is a specific cuisine, you can always try that, but just ensure you prepare your meals. And in case even for the hostels, the facilities are available for everyone to use. There might even be a shelf with maybe some other people who might have left some things before they left, say for instance tea leaves, such things, and you get to save a lot. The other cheap trick that you can consider is using the cheapest mode of transport. Instead of using a taxi or an Uber, you can use maybe the smaller cars, or you can use a motorbike if it is cheaper, or you can take a matatu. I think a matatu, that is a public service vehicle, is always cheaper than all the other means. I don't know. That is what I think for my area. It could be different for other areas. Or maybe you may need a motorbike because the PSV cannot get to the interior of your destination. But consider the movement and ensure you have it at the best rate possible. The other important and key tip is get a local SIM card. If you're traveling to another country, ensure you're not stuck. At least with a SIM card, you can be able to make calls and get help. Maybe you can search online as to what you want. And also you get the packages which are local than paying the high cost of telephone bills using your country SIM card. Also, another major tip when you're traveling out of the country is you should be aware of ATM charges. Remember, you're going to use a different currency, so the charges for the ATM and the exchange rate are going to affect you. One of the main ways you can avoid this, or you can manage this, is by ensuring that you get maybe a Visa or a MasterCard, mostly whether either a credit card or a prepaid card, and you have sufficient limit to be able to cover your stay, your entire stay, and you don't get stuck in a foreign country without money to even go back to your country. I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any more tips on traveling on a budget, please comment down below. You may help someone. And also, what are your travel top tips? Did you find this video helpful? If you did, kindly also comment down below and share me out. Remember to like the video, and if you're new, kindly subscribe and hit the notification bell. See you on our next one. Bye.